Hi there, welcome to thepromom.com. On the last episode, we discussed 3 simple tips to help you keep your house clean more simply. And today we're going to dive deeper into that subject. So, if this is your first time joining us, my name is Melissa Sykes. I am on a journey to become a professional wife and mother. And what I mean by that is just treating my chosen career as a stay-at-home mother as a dignified profession that deserves preparing for and training for, and really a lot of the same sort of effort that it took when I was in corporate America. So I am the wife of a brilliant businessman and the mother of 3 beautiful children under the age of 4. And so today we are also going to be discussing just more deeply keeping your home clean. So before I got married, I was the person who I'm just naturally more organized. I've just always been someone who is very tidy. Even as a small child, I always put my toys away before I went to bed at night. I always had my bed made. My mom didn't have to remind me. It was just something that I naturally do. And so before getting married, my home was always spotless. And then I got married and had kids. And that wasn't the case because now I live with all of these different personalities who are not necessarily naturally clean people. And so I'm going to be honest, for many years, I harshly judged my husband as being a slob. And for many years, I really held that over his head, and I was very negative about the fact that he was not organized in the manner that I was organized. And so recently I was listening to a training in the Mom Mastery University. And if you're not familiar with MMU, or the Mom Mastery University, I recommend that you check it out. It's, I think, mommastery.com. You need to check on that, but I'll post a link below. Anyway, it is like a college course for moms. And there are courses from everything from budgeting, spiritual, finances, homeschooling, parenting, and I'm taking a course on home and time management. And so the thing that I love about it is the person who created it, her name is Hannah Keeley. She has 7 children, but she interviews tons of experts in all of these fields. And so it has turned me on to all of these different resources that I would have otherwise never known existed. And so she was interviewing a woman named Jill Savage. And I'd actually mentioned Jill. She was the person who wrote the book in the first episode that I mentioned, Professionalizing Motherhood. That book, she is the person who wrote that. And so Hannah was interviewing Jill, and Jill talked about 2 different types of organization. And this totally blew my mind. So she talked about the first type, which is what we're familiar with. And she calls them innies. That we like things organized where everything's off the cupboard or off the counters and in a cupboard, in a filing cabinet, and inconspicuous and just inside something. And that is how I organize. I like things put away. Like, it is a love song to me to have just clean countertops when I walk into my kitchen. Like, I just love that. So she also talked about the second type of organizational person. And this is where my mind was blown. An outie. This is a person, they're not necessarily sloppy. They're organized, but they like everything out where they can see it. So this person might have all of their papers on their desk, on the top of their desk. So to the average person walking by, it looks like a mess. But this person knows where every single thing is on that desk. Even though to someone walking by, it might look like chaos. So my husband is this way. He is an outie organizational person. So our mail is always spread across our island. And his desk is just covered in papers. And the floor of his office is covered in papers. I just have to be able to close the door. So this is how he organizes. So I, for years, thought that he was just messy. But the fact is, he organizes by being able to see everything. And I had to just go to him and ask for forgiveness because I realized how wrong I was in trying to force my way of organization onto him. So we're going to talk about if you are an Audi or if you live with an Audi. We're going to talk about that. And then also how to manage if you are not naturally clean, how to handle that, or if you live with people who maybe aren't naturally clean either. So I read this book. So right, like the same week that I heard this like mind-blowing truth bomb about INI versus Audi organization, I also was introduced to the book called The House That Cleans Itself by Marla, I can't remember her last name, but I'll post a link. Anyway, so The House That Cleans Itself. And she is not a naturally organized person. And I still learned a ton from this woman. And so basically the concept of a house that organizes itself is that you make it simple, more simple to keep your house clean. And so I combine these two concepts and my house has stayed just a million times more clean. So I started by looking for our messy hotspots and seeing what I could do. So for us, our mail is always just chaos. So I would just find that my husband would get the mail, he rips through looking for checks first, and then there's just like a pile of envelopes, and then he just leaves the junk, and then everything that's important he spreads out. So because he likes to be able to see everything, I got a giant bulletin board and I put in his room, in his office. And now I can take all of those papers that were cluttering every surface in my kitchen and dining room, and I hang them up on his bulletin board, and he can see them all. And it has worked. We've been doing this for a month now, and it has worked fabulously. He is happy. I am happy. So then incorporating with our mail to make it more of a house that cleans itself system, I found, okay, so our shredder, we have to shred a lot of our like envelopes and stuff with our address on it. We don't like our personal information to be in the trash. So it gets to be in a big pile because our shredder is in the back corner of my husband's office. Now, I just mentioned what my husband's office is like. Papers all over the floor. It is kind of a hazard to try to walk through it. So no one wants to go to that back corner of his office to shred papers. So they just keep piling up because it's just a hassle to try to get to them. So I moved the shredder into our pantry, actually has an outlet in it. And so now every single day I can shred those papers easily without hassle, and they never pile up. And then the stuff that he needs to be able to see and take care of, I can hang on the bulletin board. And then as I'm walking in, I recycle all of the junk. Easy, right? So that's just one simple way to make a house that cleans itself. Another thing that I found that was like so simple is like the bathroom mirrors. They get disgusting. And this is what I found. We have 4 bathrooms in our house. One's in it for our guest room that we never really use. So 3 that are used all the time. And so in the kids' bathroom, I'd be in their bathroom and I'd be like, oh, that mirror is gross. It needs to be wiped down. And then I'd leave and I'd forget. Until the next time I had a kid that needed to go to the bathroom, and I'd be like, oh, that mirror really needs to get wiped down. And then I'd leave and I'd forget again. And this would go on and on. And so finally I started taking those Norwex microfiber wipes. I have a ton of them. I've been gifted some, I bought some, and they're amazing. And so I just put a glass one and a one that's for all surfaces. You can get the Norwex brand, you can also get off-brand. But I put one in every single one of our bathrooms. So as soon as I notice like, oh, this countertop needs wiped down, there's already the cloth in there and it's done. I don't even have to think about it. And as soon as I see that the mirror looks gross, I just wipe it off. And it makes it so simple to keep the house clean. Also, we used to store our vacuum down in our cleaning closet, which is downstairs, but all of our floors downstairs are hard. We have a couple area rugs, but all upstairs is carpet. So it makes it really challenging to want to vacuum upstairs where all the carpet is. So I found when I moved the vacuum cleaner upstairs, I vacuumed more often just because it was more simple. So these are like really simple things that I learned from The House That Cleans Itself. It's a whole book filled with ideas teaching you how to look for the hot spots in your home, how to really identify what it's going to take to make it easier to keep clean, and then just taking the processes and making them more simple. It's amazing. So I cannot recommend that book enough. I read it about a month and a half ago, and that was another book that was recommended that I discovered because of Mom Mastery University. So again, I'll put a link to Mom Mastery University, MMU, below, and I'll put a link to the book of The House That Cleans Itself. And if you are interested in checking those out and making your life more simple and keeping it clean and just taking the brain work and the hard parts out of it, then check those out. Because I promise you it will simplify your life and make your home just so much more clean, which means more peace. And also in our home, when there's more peace, that means I have more time to spend focusing on my children instead of focusing on keeping my house clean. And I feel more accomplished as a mother because when my husband comes home at night, our house is clean. Our dinner is on the table, which we'll talk about that another episode, about getting dinner on the table. But dinner is on the table and we can actually enjoy each other as a family instead of having that scramble and having my husband come home to a mess and messy kids and grumpy kids and stress. So I hope that you enjoyed those 2 tips of understanding the difference between an innie and an outie organizational person, and understanding how to maybe utilize the fact that if you're an outie, how to maybe just look at different ways to organize so that you can organize and still see all of your things. And then how to really make a house that cleans itself. So if today's episode has blessed you in any way, I ask that you just share it and tag a friend if you know someone who maybe could use some help in this area, or share it with your friends. And you can always find more content from thepromom.com if you go to my blog at thepromom.com. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it's blessed you. I cannot wait to talk to you and give you some more tips in the future. Have an awesome, blessed day.